As the year has begun, a lot of construction projects have commenced. Some are yet to commence, whether at government level, at corporate level, at individual private levels. These projects will run. In all of such discussions, there is a term or a person that stands out in this whole conversation. Who is the person or the term I would like to discuss in this video? And that is the term contractor, or who a contractor is. Who is a contractor? What qualifies a person to be a contractor? And what are the rights of a contractor within a construction project, or even the right of a client against a contractor in a construction contract? These are things I would like to talk about because they are germane in the industry we belong. A lot of blunders are being done in the name of contractor. And so it is imperative that I explain what this term means and who a contractor is. So the question is, who is a contractor? Simply put, a contractor is someone who has the experience and the technical skills to handle a particular kind of project. The emphasis is on particular kind of project. So what it means is that one qualifies as a contractor or answers a contractor on a kind of project does not qualify him to answer a contractor on another kind of project. But let me go back to who a contractor is. You see, a businessman can be a contractor. A professional in the construction industry can also be a contractor. But how can a businessman be a contractor? Obviously, he would have a company that will employ experts in the industry that are skilled to handle a particular kind of project or projects that he is into. So when a company or a businessman is able to hire such persons to work for him, then he qualifies to be a contractor. In other words, you give the company a job or you give the businessman a job to do, he has hands that can help him deliver the job. In that respect, he's a contractor. And he also needs to be qualified or skilled or experienced in a particular kind of project, which is the field of construction he loves to go into. Let's take, for instance, road project, building project, construction of other sorts. It could be heavy electrical construction work, heavy engineering, whatever the type is. This businessman must have skilled hands that can assist him in delivering this job if the job is given to his company. So that man or that company is a contractor. But again, construction experts can be contractors. Yes, a construction expert could be an architect, an engineer, a quantity surveyor, a land surveyor. Any construction professional within the industry can be a contractor himself. That is, if he has over time acquired the experience within a particular kind of construction, then he will be qualified to answer a contractor in that field. In other words, he has the technical know-how. As a matter of fact, if it is a contract kind of project that will involve, that is multi-skilled, that requires multi-skills, he will also need to work with other professionals. But because he has acquired experience in that aspect of construction project over time, he has the competence to take up as a contractor on that kind of project. And he can have other hands to assist him. So these are the two types of people or classes of people who qualify to answer contractor on a project. But again, I was talking about before that one answers a contractor on a particular kind of project does not qualify him to be a contractor on another kind of project. And I can explain to you. Somebody may have a skill in road project alone. He has handled a lot of road projects and may not have handled high-rise buildings, construction of buildings. Now, he cannot qualify to answer a contractor on a construction of high-rise buildings because he has not got experience in that field or in that aspect of construction. But give him road, he is a qualified contractor to handle a road. Vice versa, some person who is skilled, qualified, has so much experience in constructing any form of building and may not have constructed road. that person does not qualify competently to answer a contractor on a major road project. Sometimes you have somebody because he has done one building in his village or even be part of the supervision of his own house. He tells you that he's qualified to be a contractor. That is not how it works. Or that somebody handles a road in his village and he comes and tells you that he's qualified now to handle a massive road project in the city. If you ask him, he says he has done a road project before. No, it doesn't work like that. You need to have, that's why if you're tendering for jobs, you are being asked to submit your profile to show that you have experience record in this as kind of work. Maybe they ask you to have handled 2 or 3 projects of that sort in the past. That is what will give the foster confidence in the person giving you the job to say, yes, this is a contractor that qualifies for this job. You can't pick a man who has constructed a bungalow in his village and you give him a contract to construct a high-rise building, a building of 100 floors, 10 floors, 20 floors. You give him to construct. What is he going to do there? You see, construction is different at every time. 2 projects that are similar are different because a lot of other things, matrices come into play when we are looking at construction. In fact, it is as complex as that. The same design of building constructed in 2 different places constitutes different challenges and different experiences. So one qualifies as a contractor on a kind of project does not qualify him on another one at a time. One has to be experienced in addition to the skill set, the skill you require for such project. You need experience. Experience, because a lot of times construction project present challenges that you need to deal with on the go as you're working. And if you don't have the experience to deal with these things, there is no way you're able to carry out such a project. So the next time you are employing somebody as a contractor to work for you on that project, please be sure that he is a competent contractor. Competent in quote, in that he has experience and the skill set to handle that type of project you're going to give to him. Don't do things out of sentiment. A mason who has joined in construction project for some years will come out and call himself an engineer and tell you he is competent to handle construction project, that he has become a contractor. Somebody who handled a house for his brother, helped in supervision, tell you that he's now a contractor, that he understands. No, it doesn't work like that. That's the reason why a lot of projects are being messed up till today. Having discussed this, it is imperative I also talk about the rights of contractors on a project as well as the rights of clients on a project. When you have engaged a contractor on a project, you have given him the powers, the authority to handle that project to the end, except something happens and you're able to cut the project on the way, his engagement on the way. Otherwise, he is employed to finish that job. Now, as a client, you do not possess the right to interfere in his activities on the job while he's on it. You find sometimes where a client will come and tell you, no, I don't think it should be done this way. No, my friend said it should be done. Why did you get him to do it if you know how to do it? So Kukuma, take the job away from him and do it by yourself if you know how to do it. Or that your friend who is telling you how the contractor should do the job, well, go and employ him and let him do the job, and let this man go if you must dictate for him how to do. It is not your right as a client to dictate for a contractor how to do, but it is your right that the contractor carries you along on what he's doing and explains to you what he's doing to be sure that you are not out of place, or they don't just do and you don't understand what is going on. You can ask questions and let the contractor explain to you the things he's doing on the project. In that way, he's carrying you along because it is your right to have such understanding on that project. Again, when you are taking up projects, you need to also understand if what kind of contract it is you're signing with the person you're doing the job with. That's with the contractor. Is it a fixed sum contract or is it a variable contract? A lot of times you find out that clients give a contractor a job, and by the time they come out from the way, maybe because they now feel the money they are paying the contractor is too much, or because they now feel that the job is not as difficult as they envisaged, they will now be looking for a way to cut the cost, the amount of the contract has been given. You do not possess such a right as a client on a project, because the considerations of this contractor in doing this job, his business is doing. His considerations include, in fact, majorly, is the profit he's going to make. And he has spread his profit across all the items of work that is encapsulated in the scope of that contract. When you now begin to cut off some part of that job for whatever reasons you have, you are affecting his profit, and you do not have the right to do such a thing. And if it is a contract that is variable that you're doing, in other words, the contract can entertain variations, it is also important for your own interest as a client to agree with the contractor at what times and what circumstances that can warrant such variations and changes. Such changes could be in terms of prices of material and labor, which is what we call fluctuations, or it could be in terms of change of scope of contract, which is what we call variations. I will explain these terms in my next video. But you need to understand that if it is a fixed sum contract, you do not possess the right to interfere into that sum at any point until that, either if the project is in phases or if it is a whole lump at once. So you need to be sure of what you're going into before you go into. So you don't begin to create problem as you start the project because you feel you don't want to continue in the way it's going again. Again, if it is a variable contract, then you need to put it down in writing where you are able to entertain such variations in the contract. So the contractor does not come up and give you whatever it is that comes off in his head as variation on the contract. Time has passed when contractors make construction projects look like it is something manufactured in the moon. If your client is not following with the job you're doing as a contractor, then you have failed. You need to carry your client along and explain things to the client as you go. Reason being that, so that if there are needs for changes in the future as you're carrying out that project, your client is abreast with such changes, so that you don't go and incur extra costs as you are working tomorrow and the client says he's not aware. So you need to carry your client along, both in writing and in words of explanation as to what things are going on, so that whatever happens, your client is at the same pace, a tone with you, or whether it is cost or differences or changes or scope differences or changes. So these are the things that you need to know as a client while engaging a contractor, or as a contractor getting into a construction contract. I am going to discuss more on construction contract and the things to look out for in a typical construction contract in my next video. Please stay tuned until I'll be back again to tell you some more things about the construction industry.